Kia ora, welcome back everybody. In this video, I've had multiple requests to react to Christian Craighead and his interview with Shawn Ryan. So, let's get into it. Alright. Let's hit. Now this one I've never seen, so I'm looking forward to this.
4 years ago today, January 15th, there was a massacre at a luxury hotel in the capital of Kenya, in Nairobi. Al-Shabaab took responsibility for the attack later on, killed 19 innocent civilians. The fight went on for 19 hours into the 16th of January. There was a rogue SAS operator who went in to save countless civilians, and he is on the podcast today. This is one that has been a long time coming, and he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get anything out of these shows, please head over to Apple and Spotify. Leave us a review, like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching over there. Don't forget, there are tons, literally hundreds and hundreds of reels that you can download for free. Make them into what you want, put them all over your social media, make money, monetize it. We don't care. All we ask is that you tag the Shawn Ryan Show so everybody knows where it came from. And in the meantime, please welcome, some call this man Obi Wan Nairobi. I call him Christian Craighead. Please welcome him to the Shawn Ryan Show. God bless. Love you all. See you soon.
Oh, cool intro as well.
Christian Craig.
Hey, very quickly, awesome intro by Mr. Ryan. Those effects look cool as well. But what stuck out to me there was just how I've subscribed to his channel. But just hearing him telling people we've got all these things, yeah, I get it. It helps them as well if people download their stuff and take it and want to monetize it or whatever. But it's cool that he's, that they make that stuff available for people to be able to use if they want to. Anyway, let's get into this.
Craighead, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. It's good to finally be here.
It's good for you to finally be here. I've been waiting for this for years.
Yeah.
Years. Then you came to Nashville. We hung out a little bit, set a date. That got canceled. You're finally in house, and I am stoked for this interview, man. So thank you for coming.
I think it's just, we'll just put this in now. The funny story is when I came to Nashville for the SCI, met up with you for coffee, and then Shawn Ryan and Chris Craighead were just two dudes walking around the streets for about 2 hours, just and some of my friends was like, that's like this really odd thought, and I never thought much about it at the time, but it kind of, so that happened.
Yeah. I think we got made a couple of times out there.
Well, you did. I didn't. Well, I took the photographs though.
Right on. Well, hey, let me give you a quick introduction here. So, Christian Craighead, UK Army Special Forces, 28-year military career, most of which, correct me if I'm wrong, is in the British SAS. Retired Warrant Officer, 2nd Class, Special Air Service, Parachute Regiment in the British Army. Eventually, SAS awarded Conspicuous Gallantry Cross for actions in Nairobi, Kenya. You're a member of the Order of the British Empire, the MBE. You're the author of The Wrong Wolf, the author of, what's the book that's in?
One Man In,
which is tied up in court right now. Known as Obi Wan Nairobi, and you are a Armani jeans model. So, which we'll get into later. You're wearing Armani jeans that day, and a whole bunch of other stuff that got real popular after that incident. But, we got a lot of stuff to cover, Christian. I want to cover your childhood. We'll get into a little bit of the incident, what happened that day, if we can. And then we got a whole slew of stuff after that incident, which are...
So it sounds like his book, One Man In, must be, I'm guessing, about his courageous actions in Nairobi, Obi Wan Nairobi. And so we'll see we'll see where that goes. It must be there's probably limited amounts that he can speak about in terms of that incident, based on what Shawn has just said there, and the fact that wheels are in motion. I'm guessing the MOD or Minister of Defence and all those sorts of things, all those types of players will be in and around his particular book. Man, I can't wait for that to come out, just to check any sensitivity, I guess, of information that he might be disclosing in there.
Doing today, but everybody starts out with a gift on the show. Any guesses?
Maybe gummy bears.
It's definitely a possibility.
Thank you. I mean, yeah,
That's cool. Salute, Shawn Ryan. That's awesome. Giving everybody a gift when they come on. I haven't seen from start to finish many of Shawn's other interviews. I've seen bits and pieces of other guests that he's had on there, like the DJ Shipleys of the world, an ex-CIA guy, the long curly hair. I've seen bits and pieces of those types of interviews. But this is the first one of Shawn Ryan's that I'm sitting down. We won't get through all of this today. I'm just not going to do a full 3.5 hour reaction in one hit. This video will end up being 8-9 hours. So I'll just break it up into chunks and do the best that we can. But it's awesome that he presents and gives each of his guests a gift. That's cool.
famous gummy bears.
Famous gummy bears. Those are legal.
I like gummy bears.
Well, as you say, everyone starts off with a gift. I've got one for you.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Like, I know we're going to get onto the subject of faith later on, but God forbid that you ever have to put your body armor on again to defend yourself and your family or your ideals. But should you ever do that, I'd like to give you this armor upgrade.
Oh man. Thank you. Thank
Bible.
you. The Bible. Thank you, man.
That's
interesting.
That's a Bible with I designed the image on the front. Which
you designed this?
Well, I had the idea, and then someone else actually put it together. A good friend of mine, Carl, and it's to send me in the.
Thank you, man. That is awesome.
Wicked.
I love this. I'll probably frame it and put it in the studio.
Okay.
But
and then it could be like break glass in case of
exactly break glass in case of war. Well, since we're on the faith subject, I actually got you a little something too.
Holy heck! More gifts.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, do you know who Dom Razzo is? So that we had spoken about the Jim Caviezel episode last night, which is no more. But I gave Jim the exact same rosary, and we had a lot of conversations before the interview, and I just had a feeling that man was going to need a lot of protection. And so Dom's a former SEAL Team 6 guy, gave me that rosary. I gave it to Jim Caviezel. Then he sent me another one, and I carry that everywhere to protect myself. And I know we're going to get into some fascinating stories about some encounters that you've had, especially before some very important missions. And I just wanted to give that to you.
Thank you so much.
It means a lot to me. And Dom is just an awesome human being. And I thought you should have it because you're coming out and you have a lot of cards stacked against you back in the UK right now. And maybe that'll give you some protection.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That is awesome. Wicked. From both of them, from both sides, just this gift exchange, one after the other, and the reasons behind it. That's important. Like, he's not regifting, Mr. Ryan's not regifting a gift that he doesn't want. It's very special and important to him from a very special and important individual. And for him to pass that on to Christian, like, I don't know what the kerfuffle is in the UK, but clearly there's some challenges and stuff happening there for him. And for Shawn to be so thoughtful and to give that to him, to gift it to Mr. Craighead, to give him protection, help guide him through whatever it is that he's needing to go through at the moment back there. It's awesome, really wholesome gift exchange. I love it.
Welcome. But and thank you for this. God bless, brother. But childhood, you ready to dig in?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, but we'll see.
What are you nervous about?
Like not being exciting enough, not being and you know, I'm trying to I'll tell my story, and I think just to start with, is it interesting? Maybe. Is it cliched? Sometimes, but you could call childhood, and this is applicable for everyone. Is when your training starts, because whatever you do, whether it be an international event, whether it be you're a sportsman, a soldier, a manager, or you're in training. The moment you are born, that's when your training starts, and you're being prepared for something. And some things are bigger than others.
Yeah.
But you're always in training, so you could say it's my childhood. It's one way of framing it. The other way of saying it is it's the start of my training.
I will say this. When it comes to the nervousness, everybody that comes here is nervous. Everybody thinks, oh, it's not going to be exciting. Don't worry about that, man. It's going to be gold, I promise. And I know you're kind of hanged up or tied up with some of your career, and I would like to offer you, when you're not tied up anymore, a slot here to give a full scope and depth on everything.
Yeah.
So,
and I think a lot. Some people may be aware of this. I don't really talk about my career in the Special Air Service, and that's just my policy right now. There's some things I could talk about, but I just choose not to. And like other things, policies change, people change,
yeah,
and viewpoints change. So in the future, I may talk about some stuff.
I hope you do, brother. And just piggybacking on the back of what he's talking about, not nervous, but just unsure if his upbringing and life will be exciting or interesting. For 100%, there's millions of people that have jumped on, from what I can see, to watch this interview. So your impact, your actions, although it may primarily be coming to see about the Nairobi incident and hear about that. Everything else that you have to share, I have no doubt, is going to spark and inspire many people, and no doubt make a lot of your countrymen and women super proud to be British, to be from the UK, and to have somebody like you representing them. So awesome job, Shawn, getting them on. Obi Wan Nairobi, that's a cool nickname. Hopefully look forward to him coming back or down the track and providing interviews. Full disclosure, that'd be awesome to hear.
Good.
That I don't talk about right now.
It's all good, all in due time, and there's plenty other to talk about. So let's start with childhood. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in northeast England. So about 5 hours drive north of London, and it was I didn't really like my childhood.
Why not?
The town where I grew up is a beautiful town. I grew up in a council house, and council house is like state-owned property, so it's like a poorer area of town. And I grew up I had a single mother. I never met my father until later on in life. So I grew up with for the first 7 years, my mother, my aunt, and my grandma. My grandmother is the person I am today. She takes full responsibility of the man I became.
Sorry, I'll just quickly pause in it there. Crazy. I'm a only child. My mum, single mum. She raised me on her own. I'd never met my father. I didn't meet him till I was well into my 30s. And the area where we lived in a housing corporation home, which sounds like the same as what they've got there, a state home. It's a state house, a small 2-bedroom place. Nothing special, but it was great for me. Grew up in an area that was probably considered a poorer area of the place that I grew up in. But wow, just crazy. Anyway,
it's all because of her.
Wow.
And she raised me, and I had. It's strange when I was talking to someone else about childhood. What you think is normal isn't sometimes, a lot of time, isn't normal.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a lot of people out there who maybe get abused and don't really know they're getting abused. So it's only maybe when you may wake up to it later on in life, and then you see and you think, yeah, that wasn't cool. But
did you have any brothers and sisters?
No, I grew up as an only child.
holy heck! Only child as well. Yeah, I had heaps of cousins though. I had plenty of cousins. They were like my brothers and sisters. Far out. He's an only child as well. Crazy. Mad some of the similarities that you know, this guy on the other side of the world. Anyway, I'll get back to him.
But my natural father is probably one of the most fertile men of the 1970s. So if you're from Northeast England and you don't know who your dad is, we're probably related. But I
Great go. Well, I've since met my father. I've got 2 half sisters, 2 half brothers. So clearly he's fairly fertile as well. And then must have rubbed off on me because my wife and we have 6 children together. So I just told her she shouldn't have let me watch Cheaper by the Dozen. I would have had more if I could have, but she said, nah, after 6. Crack up.
I've got lots of like half brothers and sisters.
What is it about your childhood that you didn't like?
I think it was.
You brought up abuse.
Yeah, I think it was this, and it wasn't. There's what I say is plenty of love in my life. It wasn't abuse from family or anything like that, but it was just being exposed to violence at a really young age, and that set sort of values in me. Which
What
some
kind
people
of violence?
So there's some things I don't want to share in the light of day, and so I think that the worst experience I had was when I was 8 years old, and I just started at a new school, and it's about a 1.5 mile walk back near Woodland, and we'll talk about the Woodland later, which is on a more happier note. And I was walking home, and a nice warm September day, and 8 years old, and I was walking, and these 2 guys were there, two older boys who had just been released from young offenders from juvie, and the one was roughly about 6 years older than me, and then the other one was about the same age as him. So they would have been like 14, 15 years old, and I was always quite small and thin, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And then one of them just hit me around the head with a branch, hit me to the ground, and then they went on to sort of torture me for about 2 hours.
Torture?
Yeah, so they were just beating me up. Like one of them would be sitting on my chest, and like one of them like took some dog shit and smeared it on my face, and lit like cigarettes on me and stuff, and give me a kicking. And then I think the worst thing what the did was like I had a packed lunchbox and I didn't see him do it, but the fool put loads of dog shit inside my packed lunchbox and then sealed it back up. So I didn't see that till later on when I was at home. And that was the thing that I thought was quite, that got to me. And then and I ran home eventually, and my stepdad time went out and sort of had a took and look for them, and my mother did as well. I was obviously distressed, and they were distressed, and I think that was my first, even though I'd been beat up and set on fire and stuff like that before.
Hold on, set on fire?
Well, not set on fire. So
is that a figure of speech?
No, not literally set on fire, but it's how I escaped. I'll talk about that bit in a moment, but that to me was like pure evil that I witnessed. I thought. And then, but here's the interesting thing. Even at a young age, I was thankful. You know what I was thankful for? I was thankful that was me. Because I can take that. That was me. And I'm certain, and that's one of the biggest reasons I'm glad for. If it wasn't me that day, they had the taste of blood in their mouth. It would have been someone else. And if I'd been an 8-year-old girl, they would have raped me. I know that. I can see that. And so that was the part for me, was like, I'm glad it was me, because I can deal with that. And yeah. Well,
courage, man. I don't know many young 7, 8-year-olds that want to go through that, or that would be happy in hindsight that it was them. As for those 2 bloody teenage idiots, what's wrong with you? Picking on a 7, 8-year-old, or anybody, but especially somebody 5, 6 years younger than you. Nuts.
Did you know these guys?
I knew of one of them, and then I actually met one of them later on in life, and I turned the tables a little bit. And some people say it's not good what I did, but I gave him a kicking, and he begged for his life. He didn't know who I was.
How long ago, or what's the time frame here?
That would have been probably about 13, 14 years later.
No shit.
And I recognise that. Pure scumbag, riding a BMX with
21 years old,
tracksuit bottoms tucked into his socks. Like at night, running, my eyes just straight away locked on like a missile lock. I know who that is. First time I've seen him since, I know who that is. And as you rode past, I grabbed him by the neck, and then issued out some tough justice.
Good for you.
And then
how did that feel? Did you feel good afterwards, or did you regret it?
I hope so.
I didn't regret it.
Yeah, good.
I mean, it's maybe not a good message to put out to people, but sometimes you gotta do it. No. Sometimes you gotta put on that armor. And
did they know who you were?
No.
Did you let them know who you were?
No.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Nothing. What did they say?
Like the normal stuff, what someone's begging for their life says. So,
what is the normal stuff?
Please stop whatever I've done. Stop. And just so everyone's on, there was no mistaken identity. It was him.
Right on. Let's move on.
Yeah. But the fire thing, a few years before that, when I was about 4 or 5, I used to try and hang around with the older kids in my estate, and sometimes I'd be like a pain in the neck to them. So they, again, I don't think it's evil. It's just, sometimes kids can be brutal. Mm-hmm. So these were much older than me. These were being teenagers as well when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And there's 2 incidents. One was when I walked into the woods, and the woods was, I lived next to a set of woods, and it was just a small burn, but it was known as my woods because I knew it from an early age. I used to go there by myself, and up until just before the army, I'd know it like the back of my hands, and yeah, I loved it. I still walk through it now when I go to my hometown and think of these things, and the guys were playing with an air rifle, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And one of them turned and with a big smirk shot me in the leg and I was about 4 years old, in the thigh, and I was screaming, howling, thinking, "Why did you do that?" The other one, who always seemed to be nicer than the others, took the air rifle off me, and I thought, "Oh, good, he's going to step in," and then he shot me, and he took it and then laughed and shot me in the other leg. I think then they realised what they'd done, and then they tried to smooth it over, and I've still got 2 scars on my leg. When my legs get suntanned, which isn't often, you can see the 2 white marks here and here.
Okay.
On my legs. So it's things like that. But then so another story, and this came out when I was on operations. A whole load of the guys were talking about things that make them scared, and they said, "I'd hate to be put in like a bag." And I said, "I've been tied in a bag before." And they went, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, when I was younger, they were playing Batman and Robin." I turned up and said, "What are they doing?" "They're playing Batman and Robin, and you're going to be one of the bad guys." So they had a potato sack, and he stuffed me in this potato sack and tied a knot in the top, and then they started kicking the potato sack round and beating me.
Yes.
And the guys are looking at me going, what? And they went, well, how did you get out? I said, oh, when they set it on fire, I managed to escape. So that was my fire story.
Holy shit. So...
Oh, those are some hardcore bloody games being played over there in the UK in this area. Maybe that's where that bloody term, the hooligans, comes from. Far out. Shooting a young 4 or 5. You know, remembering that clearly traumatic, shouldn't have happened in the first place, but 4 or 5 years old and remembering that and having that happen by, again, some teenagers. And then I don't know how old he was, but being stuffed in a potato sack, he must have still been fairly small again. Mind you, he said he was always small. Beaten, kicked, punched around. They set it on fire with him in it, and that's how he got out. That's nuts, man.
You were bullied quite a bit as a kid.
Sounds like.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and this is the thing. Isn't like honestly, I was just about to say there. Was I bullied? Because in like, you know, when you normalize chaos, you normalize violence, and so that's they're the most. They're not the most graphic things that ever happened to me, but as I said to someone very close to me, I said, the other things that are the worst, they stay in here and I don't think they deserve to see the light of day. But
why are you're pretty closed up. You keep a lot of stuff internalized, it sounds like. Why do you do that?
I think it's because I've been betrayed all my life. And
who is the most important person that's betrayed you?
These are damn good questions by Mr. Ryan. Really, really good questions. I mean, I get it. Might feel like it's cutting him off when he's about to talk about something like what I'm doing. But, man, these questions are hitting, because I'm having those same thoughts. It's like, man, he keeping things that they shouldn't ever see the light of day, spoken about abuse. These aren't the worst things that have happened to him. I never had anything like that. Had a few little fights and skirmishes and stuff like that, but nothing like what this guy's had done to him. But these are great questions.
I mean, we know your government is pretty much.
I mean, that was the answer I was going to say, but I think it's just people.
Different parents, women, wives.
I mean, a bit of women, parents. Everyone's got their own heartache, if you like, and then sometimes
one of the things about the show, Christian, is sharing experiences, because people learn from that, and it helps them get through the trauma. And so for somebody like you to be sitting here who's experienced that kind of stuff and overcome it, when you share those experiences, that sends a wave into the world. Mm-hmm. And people learn from men like you who've overcome that, because they look up to you, you know. And so when you share that and you talk about how you overcame it, you know, it's like a wave of good that gets tossed into the world, and people ride that.
And I think,
man, I'm going to wrap it, because this is nearly 30 minutes and it's been about 20 minutes on here. I love that Shawn Ryan has just mentioned that and spoken about what the intent of his interviews and the podcast and the show that he does, the Shawn Ryan Show. Incredible. Like, he's just summed it up there. When somebody as brave, as courageous, as physically and mentally strong as Christian Craighead can come on to a show like this, like Shawn Ryan's show, and be vulnerable and speak about the challenges that he's overcome. And he shared a couple of examples there, but he says that those aren't the worst things that have happened to him. Shawn Ryan's absolutely right. That sending of a wave into the world will pick up those people that need to see and or hear it, and it gives them a lot of strength. It helps them to be able to navigate and see and learn, like Shawn said as well, what others have done to overcome those things. And by sharing that stuff, it can help provide tools, information, lasting memories that can help propel an individual or many individuals forward to overcome whatever their traumas might be, whether they be identical, whether they be similar, whether they be different, but they can draw parallels to it and move on. This is awesome. Shout out to those that sent me the request to do a reaction to Mr. Craighead's interview with Mr. Ryan on the Shawn Ryan show. This is awesome. We're only 20 minutes in, 30 minutes on here. Amazing. Amazing. I'm looking forward to, I'm going to carry on doing this one, not today. I'm going to pause this. It'll take me a while to figure out and do the editing. I'm not that great on it. And then put this up to upload tomorrow. And then I'm just going to chip away at this. This is amazing. It's awesome to see Shawn, like how he questions, the intros, the gift giving, taking that moment to explain what it's about, because I was thinking the same thing. Oh man, this guy's he's awesome, but very, very closed off. So hopefully, seeing as it goes for over 3 hours, hopefully Shawn is able to get more out of him, and hopefully Christian feels more comfortable speaking and opening up a bit more, because his words, his actions will be powerful. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks so much for sticking around. I need to do some editing of this and look to get this posted up tomorrow. This is just awesome. Appreciate your time. Really appreciate those that sent through the recommendation for this. This is me starting out on the reaction to this one, and I am loving it so far. So, hey, wherever you are in the world, whatever challenges, struggles that you may be going through, keep turning up, keep smashing, stay in the fight. And until the next video, we'll see you next time.